So good morning, everyone. It is June 17th. This is the Somerset County Association of Resource Providers meeting. We meet the third Thursday of every month here on Zoom. And it's just after 9 o'clock, so we'll get started. Our usual round robin, make sure you pick someone to go next once you have shared your updates from your agency. So Dana, do you want to get us started today?
Sure, I can do that. It might be a two-parter because I'm still waiting to hear back from Betsy. But
we've got a small group. Go for it.
Yeah, all right. So not too much going on with us that that's changed. Our I think starting on Monday, our Explorer will be back to running Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and that would be the Skowhegan, Madison, Norwalk loop. And the schedule for that is online, and it also shows how much it costs intercity, and there's the intercity Skowhegan runs plus the loop. So that's coming up. Other than that, I mean, we're still processing COVID funds for people who need assistance because that whatever something's going on because of COVID, they've lost wages or they can't. A lot of people can't, let's face it, just can't go back to work because they have childcare, and there is no childcare or very little right now. So that's a real issue when people say, oh, we can't get people to work, and it's like, are you offering I don't know, livable wages and childcare? I don't think then there's a problem. So yeah, and I think that's there's a report I just read the other day that basically said companies that are offering decent wages are not having problems hiring people. Really interesting. So there's my little commentary for this morning. So anyway, COVID, and we think there's some money, and maybe Dan or Ben will know more about this, but we think there's some federal money coming to help with mortgages because those folks kind of fell between the cracks. They've been in forbearance, a lot of them, when they lost their wages or whatever. We couldn't pay mortgages. We could only pay for rent. So we're kind of waiting to see where that goes. And then that's it. And I may be back with some updated information about the COVID grant, but I don't remember what it is I'm supposed to update people on. So
well, I'll just quickly chime in before you pass it on. I stopped into McDonald's this morning for a junkie breakfast, and they put an ad in my bag that they're hiring here in Skowhegan and that they've increased their starting wage. So that might be worth resending people back over there if they've applied in the past and it wasn't enough money. It might be worth reapplying.
Well, and the other thing is, geez, there's, people are all complaining about we can't get people to apply, and yet they still turn away people who are in recovery and people with a record. So excuse me, there's this big, group of people out here that are dying to work for you. Stop turning them down then. And if you're turning them down, I don't want to hear you complain. So there's my little rant for this morning, everybody.
Oh, and another job availability. I drove in on the middle road, and the animal shelter is hiring. So they must have had a staff changeover or something, but that's probably going to be a pretty sought after position if someone's looking for a cool job at the animal shelter.
Good to know.
I kind of want to go work at the animal shelter, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, the new animal shelter would be at my house. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be taking home with me. So yeah. All right, so I'll go to my right, which would be Ben.
That's not your political right necessarily, although I'm not sure because you are quite energized this morning.
Obviously not.
Huh?
Obviously not. Yeah.
How fired up you are, and that whenever you have a chance to make a plug for inmates because of your many years in the sheriff's department, you do, and kudos to you for that, because that's actually very true what you said about there is a whole host of people out there that would like to work, but they can't for various reasons, or companies won't hire them. As far as relief, I've been talking, by the way, regional representative for United States Senator King. I work out as Augusta office. They have Oxford, Androscoggin, Franklin, and Somerset counties of my territories. Our offices have been open through the pandemic with one person in the office answering the phone. We took turns, but no one coming in. But just the 1st of June, our offices are open now. We have a new office open in Portland. The Augusta office is actually, we're moving out of Civic Center Drive into the federal building in Augusta in the middle of July. And we continue to provide all the services that we have, just like all the other federal delegation offices. And that caseload has not diminished any. And recently, we went through the same process that Dan and with Congressman Golden and Congressman Pingree office went through to accept earmark applications, or they're called CDSs now, congressionally directed spending, but we would know them formally as earmarks. For us, it was a new process because they haven't had those for almost a dozen years, I believe. So those requests came in, they went to the PC staff and they reviewed those, and the process, and maybe Dan actually knows more about this than the way the process goes. Then they go to the appropriations committee, I believe, and then they're disseminated to the various agencies. So it's not an overnight decision. And we got a robust amount of requests, and where those go and how they're going to be dealt with and how they're going to be decided is my pay grade. But I was just, our job here at the state was to make sure people knew that that application was available, and to assist them in however we could in getting that filled out and getting that CDS request in. Other than that, this has certainly been very busy, as the whole federal delegation is. It's almost goes without saying that it's a crazy time in Washington, D.C. I think you could probably say that anytime. But I'm particularly pleased to be back out on the road, back out attending meetings in person. I don't have anything against Zoom meetings, except that I don't like them at all. But other than that, they have served a function, certainly, and they have proven that we can still, as individuals and as entities and groups and organizations, we can function with them. But I'm an in-person kind of guy, and so I'm really pleased. I'm almost as energized as Dana is, actually. But my soapbox is smaller than hers today, which, so other than that, I'm going to pass it on to my colleague and good friend, Dan Jenkins from Congressman Goldman's office.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. I'm Dan Jenkins with Congressman Jared Golden's office. I'm his district representative for Oxford, Franklin, and Somerset counties, and I do work on grants-related issues for the congressman. I've met many of you in the past. As to I will look into question about specific federal funding for mortgages. I'm not sure what the story is exactly with that, but I will check into that for you, Dana, and get a response. I would say the biggest piece of sort of what to look for as you're going forward is, as part of the American Rescue Plan Act, there is going to be an increase in the child tax credit that will be effective July 15th. People will start getting additional funds into their bank accounts. It amounts to, I believe it's $300 per month for children 6 and under, and $250 per month for children between the ages of 6 and 17. So, and it's going to be a monthly, like sort of, it's a tax credit, but it's going to be provided at a monthly interval. Most of this, 90 to 95% of the folks will not need to do anything. If they file a tax return and they claimed a child as a dependent, that it'll just start showing up the same way they got their tax refund. If they, for some reason, do not file a tax return, there is a process that the IRS has created to allow people to file to start receiving these benefits. I will send that along to someone from the organization so that folks can be aware. You know, the intent of it is to make sure that there's you know, food in the cupboard and clothes on the backs of some of our lowest income individuals and families, particularly children. I anticipate that we'll start getting calls from folks when they don't receive them, when everyone else does. But that's just a guess. I haven't gotten any calls, so I'm doing a little preemptive work here, because you might get calls too. Let's see, that's kind of my biggest watch out for in the coming weeks is going to be folks looking for that. If there's any, as Ben mentioned, we do a lot of what we call casework in our offices. People who are interacting with any federal agency, feel free to send them our way. This includes people working with Social Security because they messed up something with their check, or Veterans Affairs, they're not getting the health care that they deserve from their injuries from serving, or if somebody is trying to look for get their work permit, if they're a person who's immigrated to the country and are eligible to work, but there's a snafu. We do this sort of stuff all the time. Send them our way. We're happy to help. And then if anyone has any questions, feel free to pass them right along. And I'm happy to answer any of those. If there are none, I will pass it on to Rita.
Whoa. What was the, I'm sorry, I was writing as you were talking about the tax credit. What was the age breakdown again on that, Dan, for the kids?
Sure. For children age 6 and under, it's $3,600 a year or $300 a month. For children 6 to 17, it is $250 a month, or I believe that math is hard, $3,000 a year. And that's per child. So if someone has 3 children, they'll be getting, whatever, math it together, 2 over 8, 2 over 6, 1 under 6, they'll get $800.
Thank you.
Give or take. There is a high income cutoff. I actually don't know what that number is, but it's my understanding is it's relatively high.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Are there any other questions that I can answer? Great. Off to Rita.
Okay, I think I'm ready to speak. This kind of a catch as catch can't take it like every other word somebody says lately on this thing. So I, for one, would be anxious to meet in person so I could hear every word everybody's saying. But anyway, I represent hospice volunteers of Somerset County, and I just have a few things to report this month. We had the Memorial Garden in Skowhegan at Coburn Park last week. That went very well. And if you have a chance, you can go over to Coburn Park and take a peek at the hospice garden. It's a beautiful garden, actually. Has a wind chime and flowers. We planted flowers. We planted more flowers. And we're going to have another garden in Madison, but we don't have a date yet. We were supposed to have it already. And Madison Library decided they needed a new roof. So that takes precedent. So they are putting on a new roof. As soon as they get their work done and we get our act together too, then we'll have an opening in Madison at that garden. And I'm sure that will be announced on Facebook and social media. And So that's what's going on currently. We're gonna try to have a yard sale this summer. We didn't have one last year because of obvious reasons. And we had a little inside out sale here and bake sale not too long ago. So we're gonna hope to have that outside this time. Sometime this summer, we're not sure when, but we'll let everyone know when. And then the other thing is we continue to have an active equipment program, medical equipment program exchange, and that goes very well. We accept as well as give things out, people in need. And Amy continues to provide counseling right here at the office, one-on-one counseling. So that's about all that's going on right now. And I'll pass it over. I see Jason's face there, but I'm sure that's not the way he really looks. But I'll pass it on to Jason from the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Give me just one sec. Sorry, I had to mute. I'm in 3 different Zoom meetings right now. So, and also on 2 conference calls. So trying to mute everybody so I can talk real quick. A lot of stuff going on. So like Rita mentioned, hospice at some point. The goal is by the end of the month, we're hoping. The town manager said about 2 weeks, but we know time frames, so hopefully we can get Madison up and going pretty quick. Chamber side has been busy. We're prepping for this weekend, the barbecue. So we have that going on. I'm on my way to the airport this afternoon to pick up our 2 reps from North Carolina coming in, and then I got to go back to the airport tomorrow morning to pick up our rep from Texas that's coming in for the state cook-off. So I got judges flying in. My judge from Switzerland is supposed to be landing this afternoon and driving up. We got judges from all over. We have 16 official teams confirmed. One team, we may have a baby born during the event, which I'm hoping is after, because she's 9 months pregnant and she said she hasn't had the baby yet, but she's coming to cook. So but if you don't pass in all categories, you get disqualified. So I'm hoping she turns in all the meat before she has the baby. We'll have EMS on standby, but let's turn in the meat before we have the baby. So she's driving from Montana, so we'll see. So
Jason,
yeah.
as good a multitasker as you are, you can't plan the birth of, well, not natural birth.
We're trying.
If you could do that, you'll get a medal.
Yeah. So we still have room for kids. We've been struggling. We have reached out to every school in Somerset County, and we only have 10 kids registered for the 10 kids cook-off out of the 40 that we have open. So if anybody knows kids that want to compete, let's sign them up. I'm going to do an announcement that morning I got 40 girls sitting here. Well, I'm ready to give them out. I just don't have kids to give them to. So we'll prep for the 10 and make an announcement Saturday morning that if anybody last minute wants to do it, they can. The gates open at 9 Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday is going until 10 o'clock that night. We have the state cook-off. We have the kids cook-off. The first responders, we only had 1 team sign up, and that was Skowhegan PD. No other first responders or veteran agencies signed up. So we're going to change that over. And if there's 4 people in the community that want to compete and just have fun with chicken wings, let me know. We're opening it up to 4 teams, period. 20 pounds of chicken wings you got to cook. So it's not going to be just it's not just first responders at this point. Let's just have fun and cook some chicken wings. And then, so we got all that going. We launched our Bingham Information Center last week. We have our Madison one up and going. So we got those other 2 locations besides Skowhegan. The refrigerator is still going fairly decent. We have a golf tournament coming up. Riverfest is slated, so keep that in your books. So Riverfest is slated for the first week of August. The Skowhegan State Fair is happening this year. The New Balance scent sale is happening this year in moderation. So we got those all coming up. A ton of events going on. We are seeing a huge influx of out-of-staters. So tourism numbers are up. Talking to our rafting companies in the Forks, it's their highest that they've had in 15 years. So, which is awesome. Biggest struggle that, just like everybody, is we don't have employees. So at this point, talking to a lot of the businesses, if they have to close, it's due to lack of workforce, not because of COVID at this point. So we just can't get people to work. So, and there's some tricks with this new $1,500 incentive to get people back to work before the end of the month. So the businesses are kind of struggling with that. So I'm working through that as well. So that's kind of what's going on. We did have a very successful Maine College Circle award ceremony a couple weeks ago. June 1st, we did that down at Coburn Park, and we awarded 16 students from grades 3 through 6, $100 scholarship, which is a community Somerset future fund. So they get the $100 that they can use towards future aspirations through the Maine College Circle. Senator Collins, Michelle Nishu came up from Senator Collins' office. I know Senator King's office sent up certificates as well. So we had a couple of our local selectmen there and state rep. So it was a good turnout overall. Everybody had fun, and it was different. It was good doing it outside versus at the school. So the tech center has a bunch of programs that they're doing this summer. So it's gearing up to be a very busy summer. So in all aspects. So that's what I got.
Want to pass it off?
Who hasn't gone? Jen, go for it. Oh, Skyla, ages 7 to 16. If you're younger at this point, I really don't care, as long as your parents are willing to cook with you. I don't want a 3-year-old, but
Thank you. Thank you, Jason. So I'm Jen Reed, and I'm the pastor at Centenary United Methodist Church, and also the new executive director of our new nonprofit, Common Unity Place. We did receive funding from you, and we'll be a partner agency through United Way beginning July 1st. So we're very excited, and what this funding will hopefully help us to provide. And so right now, Wednesdays is a big day. We've been very busy at 103 Dr. Mann Road. We have our new thrift shop, which is open upstairs over the clothing closet. That's open on Wednesdays, 9 to noon. So if you know folks trying to find very affordable pots, pans, housewares, we have that. And it's we've had some great support from getting items to just great turnover. Clothing closet still open on Wednesdays, 9 to noon and 5 to 7, offering free clothing to anyone in need. Our Cup Cafe, Common Unity Place Cafe, is also open as a hospitality place from 9 to noon and 5 to 7. We're offering free refreshments, light lunches, and also free Wi-Fi. So if we've had some folks come in and use our cafe as an office space for a few hours, or to come and hang out and charge their cell phone. So that is available. We also right now are hosting Dawn Fickett from the director of Reach, and also Kristen Plummer come in at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays and provide table talks for parents. And this last week there's a different, and I'm going to post a better flyer because you couldn't read what it said, but on the first one the print was so small. But there's talks each week through I think the end of July, and so this last week was on free resources for the summer for families, healthy free resources to have a healthy summer. Also, we have hosting up, there'll be later next month, July 7th to August 11th. We're also hosting on Wednesdays, Cooking Matters class. with Cheryl Curtis, and that's going to be running from 1 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So if you know folks that would like to sign up for that, we'll also be hosting here coming up on June 26th, the second annual community baby shower. And we are taking folks in, we're still kind of practicing safety protocols. When we first started planning this, there were so many, things changing. So we're asking participants to still wear masks when they come. We're having some of it indoors and some of it outdoors. There'll be tents set up outside. And that's going to be on June 26th from 11 to 2. And there's still slots available. People have to register through Kristen to be able to participate in that. Our free Tuesday evening meal program is still going. The next one is on June 22nd with Italian sandwiches, chips, and dessert. They just need to call the church number 474-3915. Again, I see people might be writing that down, 474-3915, and just leave their name and number of meals, and then stop by to pick up their meal between 5 and 6 p.m. that Tuesday evening. And again, that's June 22nd. Starting in July, we're having talks about moving the free community meal out into neighborhoods and offering free barbecues. And we've already kind of got the first one set up across the street with some of our regular attendees that I asked one of them, hey, if we were to come over to your place and set up a barbecue, would you mind if we set up a grill and offer your neighbors free barbecue? And they're all excited about it. So we're going to try to have some activities for kids to do. And then we're in the process of seeing how that one goes. And then maybe selecting different neighborhoods in Skowhegan where we think something like that would be very effective and just a fun thing to do this summer. And then we're hoping to come back to the campus in the fall, in the late summer, and maybe offer 1 or 2 sit-down community meals, maybe outside on the church lawn with our tables, having games, kind of like a community block party, and just having an end of the summer celebration for the community. Still getting a lot of, we serve 100-something meals every time, we usually right in that area that we have these. So and great support. United Way, KB Cap has offered some funding too. So it's just a privilege to be able to take part and serve the Skowhegan community. So I think that's it for me. And just looking forward to partnering. If there's other agencies that want to think about using our space and partnering together to offer different programming at the cafe, we are very excited to do that. And so, and this winter we are going to be offering that space to the cafe on Wednesdays as a warming center. And officially, now that we've gotten the funding and so forth, and COVID is, and all of that seems to be settling down, I'll officially go to the town office and make that known through the town and other agencies. So I guess that's it. Thank you. And Skyla, have you gone yet? Okay, I'll pass that over to Skyla.
Thanks, Jen. Good morning, everybody. Skyla Littlefield, Substance Use Prevention Specialist with Kennebec Behavioral Health. We have had a busy start to this year already. Just completed a Prime for Life program, still seeking referrals for that. So the Prime for Life program is for people who may have, it's an educational program, it's not treatment, who may have had some issues with substances and may be mandated to the program. Also using this as an opportunity with the rise in alcohol use during the pandemic, if a person is concerned about their level of alcohol use without being mandated to the program, they are more than welcome to self-refer. But it's a 10-hour program still being done virtually, which is great. The class I just completed was, I had people in Massachusetts and Connecticut and whatnot, because it was a college event that led them to the program. So we are still plugging for that. The CERT program is no longer going to be a part of my work plan through UNE, but I am contracted now with AdCare, so I will be doing all CERP in-state programming. So, and I'll be managing that whole thing. So that's new, and that'll be fun and busy. Jen mentioned the baby shower that's happening. I've been busy ordering some great things to put in the packets for them. I actually just, got a couple different books here. Get another set too. I was actually able to special order 150 books called Sleep Baby. So that'll be nice to put in those. We have a new hire for a pilot program through the Somerset County Jail. We have a case manager who will be working with the community corrections and people leaving the facility in order to reobtain insurance, help them get jobs, help them connect to services. So we're very excited about that. July 1st, there will be a screening of Jacinta at the Skowhegan Drive-In. Gordon Smith, I believe, is going to be there. It is a documentary about intergenerational substance use and one woman's journey through the Maine prison system and what it looks like when she leaves. And I do believe, National Night Out will be happening in August. I don't recall the exact date. I was kind of trying to find it through Facebook, cannot find it just yet, but I have heard that that will be on this year. So it's nice to be returning to some kind of normalcy. And I will pass it to Brittany.
Thank you. Good morning. I am Brittany Watt. I am new to this group. This is my first time attending. I actually was informed about this group from Michelle LeClaire from the Family Violence Project. She and I are working on a project for our providers here. I'm the community health educator at Reddington Fairview. So we have done something in the past with them and we're working on a partnership, and she had suggested that this might be a good group for Reddington to be represented in. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. I don't really have a whole lot to share. I was kind of hoping just to observe and see what everybody else is up to, but I was writing down some notes of some big things. My position was vacant for the past year. I came on to this position at the beginning of February, so it was vacant for quite some time, and our community programs kind of took a hit from that. So our community members had missed a lot of what we were offering through past years. So we've done a lot of work since I came on in February to restart programs that were really popular, as well as kind of redesigning them because needs have changed so much in the last year. But we do offer a Stop the Bleed program. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that or not. It was a grant that we had got a few years ago through the county to teach lay people how to treat traumatic injuries before EMS arrives. So that is a free training. We do offer it, or we have mostly offered it to schools and first responders like police officers, fire department. But we've decided to open it up to anybody, really any area, organization or business that wish to be trained. It is free, and we do provide Stop the Bleed kits. So if anybody here, if you or someone that you know would like to have your organization or team trained in that, you are more than welcome to reach out to me, and we can schedule that with some of our EMS providers. They go out and do that training for free. We are starting a new initiative here at the hospital, kind of twofold. We're starting a health literacy initiative to kind of look at our materials here at the hospital, how our providers are interacting with folks. And then we're also kind of toying with the idea of making some kind of community program or class for for community members who could potentially have low health literacy or just not know what kind of questions to ask when they come. We are basing this initiative off the National Action Plan to Improve Health Literacy. I don't know if anybody has read that, but it's pretty comprehensive, and there's a lot of good information in there. So we're building this initiative and program idea off of that. It's going to take some time, so I have no idea when we'll be able to launch this, but we are doing work in that. And we also are offering our Safe Sitter program again. For those who are familiar with it, we've offered it many times in the past year. not as often as we are this year. So because we're having to go towards Zoom, we are able to offer it 4 times this summer to kiddos in grades 6 to 8, and it is free. In the past, we've charged a fee for it, but we've moved away from charging fees for our programs because of some families having hardships throughout COVID. So we didn't want to create a barrier, an extra barrier for folks. So that is open. We have 2 dates in July and 2 dates in August, and that is free for those kiddos of those ages. And that's it.
Great, thank you, and welcome, Brittany. I'm glad you made it. We emailed, right?
We did, yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
great. I'm really glad you were able to make it. And speaking of our friend Michelle from the Family Violence Project, she sends her apology. She sent me an email update really quickly. So it looks like Family Violence Project has a job opening for a shelter advocate. I put the link to the FVP job openings in the chat. And then she also asked me to update you guys that the Race to End Domestic Violence 5K is happening October 17th. And I believe that sign up is live as well. So I put that link in there as well. And I'll try to get those up on Facebook later today. So even though she's not here, she sends her greetings and her information. So as far as me, I'm Julie Bielko. I am the Juvenile Community Corrections Officer for Northern Somerset County. I cover Skowhegan north to the border. My colleague Russ McMahon covers Fairfield off to the east of the county. So it has been busy. COVID had slowed us down quite a bit with referrals. I can tell you I'm over a dozen for June so far. So I am a busy bee. And Skyla, I will keep you in mind for SCARP. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know how to best phrase that. We don't have a lot of substance abuse referrals right now, which in a way is a good thing. But unfortunately, it leaves me with no one to refer to you right away, but I will certainly keep SCARP in mind for that. But it has been a busy start of the summer season. Kids are getting out of school, things are opening up, and unfortunately, mischievousness is happening. So that's going on, and we are also waiting to hear whether or not there are 2 bills. I'm not going to be the professional that knows which one is which. I don't follow those too closely, but I know we are waiting on 2 pretty big deal bills to find out future having to do with Long Creek. That's been in the news recently. So we are in the wait to hear mode from the governor's office on that. So, you know, I think we'll have a lot of changes regardless of what those bills look like going forward. And hopefully we'll have good things. So that's kind of the update from me. I think everybody has gone. Oh, Dana, you've got more information.
All right.
Go for it.
Here's the scoop. So Betsy says, number one, I went ahead, she sent me a flyer, which I just posted on our Facebook page on SCARP for SCARP. And so it's basically, if you know people in recovery, we're still looking for folks to be part of that consortium that's working on the grant, because we really need to hear from people, their barriers, how, you know, all those kinds of ins and outs of attaining treatment. Also businesses, to get the word out to businesses that and agencies, if they have anybody working for them that has disclosed they're in recovery. Again, to, you know, that there's all kinds of support there through the consortium. I think that's basically what you wanted to say. So I think that's it. But yeah, I did post a little flyer there on Facebook. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, I think that's everyone. Jason, you came back on video. Did you have anything else to add? Just joining us? All right. So at this point, it's 9:45, so I think we'll wrap up. As always, I will post this video up to our YouTube page and share it on our Facebook page. So if you did not catch the live of our meeting, you'll be able to catch the replay and hopefully get some valuable information. And otherwise, we will plan to see you next month in July, which I believe will be the 22nd or yeah, I think the 22nd is the third Thursday of the month. And in August, as always, we will not have a meeting in August because everybody deserves to take a vacation sometimes. So thanks very much for joining us, and we will see you next month. Bye, everyone.